get this set up. Whoops. Yeah, I think we got. How you guys doing? Guess I'll move over a little bit so you can see my sign in my new location. How's everybody? I am doing marvelous because it was not 100 degrees today. Thank God for that. We're going to have a little cooler temperatures, a little below 100, well, the low 90s for the next 3 days, I think. So I am excited. I'm going to pull up the chat. I think my moderators will start speaking to everybody. I want y'all to see that painting. Video link. Can y'all hear me okay? Because you guys know you don't hear because you have to turn the microphone off. So it won't be an echo. Okay, thank you, thank you. We have in the house. Let's see. We got Lucas 5464. Mike Kramusky is in the house. Joyce Moore. Lady Cheryl, I thoroughly enjoyed your class yesterday. Very inspiring and informative. Thank you for all that you do. Mwah. Thank you for being there. Tia is in the house. She's driving. So keep your eyes on the road. We appreciate you listening in. Chine Moss Farm is here. My YouTube daughter, Miss Kia Parks. Tiz Good is in the house. Hoyt Robinson is here. Bobby Wilson is in the house. Did I say Bobby already? I think I probably did. Best Yet Journey is here. And Best Yet sent me a early birthday present, and I am just so happy that she thought enough to paint this for me. And you all know on my other backdrop, I have one of her paintings with the hibiscus, my favorite flower, and my favorite bird, the hummingbird. Let's see. Yankee Sister is in the house. Thank you so much for being here. James Franklin, 38 and things. I gave it and things. Wow, your garden look really, really good. I'm so happy you got some rain, James. And by the way, guys, we're supposed to get some rain. Let me stop yelling. And so when that happens, if it's a thunderstorm, there's a possibility that the internet may cut off. Okay? So if that happens, you guys know that it's the rain. I don't want us to get cut off, but I'm praying for rain, and I'm praying for a good downpour. Yes, Bobby Wilson, isn't that beautiful? That is just gorgeous. I'm trying to see if I missed anybody. Sudie's Polidor is in the house. Thank God for her healing. Alsnat Homesteader, Chine Moss Farm. Duval City Girl Gardener is in the house. My Renaissance Grandma is in the house. Miss B. Washington. Lorraine T. is here. Miss Love is in the house. Salon Diva V Home and Garden is here. Sure, can you send me my Melvin now? Oh, that's so funny. That showed up in my timeline on Facebook, and I thought I would share it with you. And I started not to because I didn't want people to think I'm on the prowl or anything like that, because I'm not. And but I thought it was so cute, and I felt that you all, especially the ladies in my subscription list, would understand that sometimes we need some muscles to help us with our gardening work. And yeah, so that was really cool. And a couple guys responded in a jokey way, and they knew I was just kidding, because by now, after doing these lives for 2 years, you should know my sense of humor. I don't mean to offend anybody, and I thought it was just so cute if I had a Melvin right now. I've got 2 huge containers that have 2 banana plants each in them that I had winterized in the greenhouse for a total of 6 banana plants. And I need to get them moved because they're starting to show a little wear from being in direct sun. And when I talked about that a few years ago about shading them, somebody commented that banana plants do very well in full sun, but they didn't know that the heat index can bake those leaves. So yeah, so sometimes I'll be sitting there going like, let me try to move this thing. Let me see if I can get it up on the dolly. And then I end up hurting myself. And it's not worth it, ladies. It's not worth it. Pay somebody or wait until, one of your friends, in my case, it's my son, can come and assist me with that, because you can strain muscles that take, in my case, months to heal. So Go Grow is in the house. She was in my class yesterday. Hey, Grandmama Grow, so glad to see you here. My wonderful, beautiful moderator. And did I miss anybody else? I'm going to start off by saying I have a bone to pick with my moderators. First of all, let me tell you, I'm in a new spot, like the tail end of my kitchen, because there was a air conditioning vent right there and one over there, and then I have a fan at a distance on me so it won't be so loud or stirring up my allergies, because I'll be sweating where I usually be, behind the screen. But anyway, the bone that I have to pick with my moderators, I forgot to do the seed contest, and I forgot to do the shout outs for the people that are in the perk clubs or moderators to list their YouTube channel or their Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok page. Only one. So I'm going to start off right now while I go get me something to drink. I'm going to ask that every moderator put your channel up if you have one. If not, those other social media accounts that I mentioned, but only one. And yeah, let's do that now while I go get something to drink, okay? I'm a little thirsty. Ooh, shit. I just said a boo-boo. I hope y'all didn't hear that. I almost tripped on a bead. I broke a necklace a couple days ago. So today I'm having bubbly. I've been liking that. It's a good, refreshing drink. And since I am what they consider pre-diabetic too, I control it. I control my levels. Some people say sugar. Some people say glycemic index. I control it by eliminating sugar, fat, and a lot of carbs for my diet. And so this is blueberry pomegranate bubbly, and it's simply sparkling water. And I have it delivered. And my little aluminum straw I absolutely love because it keeps everything cold. So I see we got some folks in here that are putting in their channels. Somebody speaking to Hands in the Dirt. That's Stacy. How you doing? Oh, Mike said he didn't hear me. Oh, he's winking because I said shoot, but I said that other word because I almost tripped. Yeah. YouTube channel for Best Yet. If you have an emoji by your name, that means you're in one of my 3 perk clubs. And if you don't have a channel or a social media page, you're welcome to put your garden zone in. Okay? So, like-minded people can stick together. Okay, I'm still waiting for people to... Somebody said memory. Bust is supposed to be Lady Cheryl memory. Okie dokie. Brian and Bria was here earlier, and Bria was picking up those beads for me, and she left some, and I almost tripped on it. So while they're doing that, let me say, because somebody already mentioned it, let me pull up my files from yesterday. We had a real good class. I tried the same ingredients, but I presented how to make natural and organic lotions and creams in a simpler way, where the attendees can just multiply the amounts for how many ounces or cups of lotion or cream that they were trying to make. And my daughter helped me with that presentation. And I was telling them that she taught elementary school, I think about 24 years, and 3 years she was a coach to assist other teachers how to present and handle their management in the classroom. And so she has a lot of experience with curriculums, and so do I as a cosmetology educator. And now she's an assistant principal. I think she's been there 3 years, 2 years or 3 years. But anyway, the point I want to make on, I let her watch one of my Zoom videos to get a better perspective of how the information that I was delivering was presented. And she showed me a way where I could condense, man, she's real good at that, where I could save time and do 2 lessons in 1 class. So it was the first time that I presented it like that, and all of the people that participated yesterday told me that they enjoyed it. I got emails. Of course, we had Miss Joyce telling us right here today, but a lot of people emailed me, for the size amount of class that we had, and it went really, really well. And the reason why I say that is because when I did the lotion class a couple other times, I had to email the participants the final results of what the viscosity and density and thickness of the lotion was, because I ran out of time. And when I did it the way my daughter, who is an educator, recommended or suggested to me, we had more time for questions and answers at the end. So, why am I saying all of this? Don't think you know everything, people. Nobody does. Nobody's perfect. We all need help. And that's why we're here, to help one another. You all help me. I don't know everything. I'm learning a lot from you guys. You motivate me. You inspire me. And it's just like a circle, and we just keep on passing that information to one another. Little shortcuts, experiments, products that we try. And I want to tell you all tonight that last Monday night, I shared with you when I was working, I tried the root pouch grow bags system with the saucers that go with them. And I gave the grow bags away, but something told me to hold on to those saucers because I thought I could use them and fill them up with water and let my containers wick up with no matter what material they made out of. Water will find, pardon me, soil will find moisture and it'll wick it up. And there are a lot of things that you can do to assist. For example, you can take cotton yarn and put it inside of your plant and have a long stream and let it sit, well, probably a little weight or something on it, anything, marble, couple paper clips, anything to weigh it into the water source of old rock, pebble stone, and that water will slowly wick up that yarn, that cotton yarn, and go down into your plant. So there are a lot of things that you can do with those saucers, so I didn't give them away. The other thing I wanted to say, I saw something you probably already seen this floating around Facebook, TikTok, or YouTube, where a nurse hooked up IVs. And she rigged them in a way, or he rigged them in a way where the IV was dripping into the soil or the containers to water your plants. So during this real extreme heat wave that we have been experiencing in North Texas and other parts of the country, we have to get creative and come up with ways how we can keep our plants from burning up. And even when we do all that we know to do, learn to do, that we found out another YouTuber was doing, or a subscriber, even then, we're not going to save all of our plants. But I'm here tonight to tell you, don't give up. Don't be discouraged. Don't quit. There are a lot of people that live where I live, and even hotter places like Arizona, for one, that just refuse to garden. Or they'll have a little small garden inside of their home with the, grow lights, aero garden, a whole lot of other systems, or hydroponics comes to mind. Don't give up. Don't give up. Because there are going to be some seasons in your gardening where you might not get the harvest that you got the year before or the year before that. Or this crop may not do well this season, but another crop is plentiful. And that's why we prep. We prep so that we can have a reserve. And now is the time for us to continue to prep as much as we can. And don't give up. When the going gets tough, the tough gets going. James Franklin, and I want my moderators to put up his channel, is gardening in extreme heat, dryness, and I can hear the wind when he's videotaping. A lot of people where he lives, and I don't know the exact location, he can type it in the chat, would give up. But you don't give up. And I mentioned this in the video, and I'm going to say it again because I'm not going to deny my religion or my beliefs for anyone. God knows what we need before we know we even need it. So the 2 years prior to this season, I had an abundance of tomatoes. I still have them canned. So this crop may not be as plentiful as the year before during the spring, but I garden all year long. Even in the winter, I'm harvesting fresh tomatoes. So that just tells me that I need to get a jump on or a head start on the fall crop. I'm not going to give up. I don't care what anybody says to try to discourage you. Don't give up. I've seen some crazy stuff on the internet where they said they spent $1,000 to get a bed, soil, the fertilizer they needed, the seeds, the plants, or whatever, and they think they added in their label, and I got this one tomato. It's cute when you look at it and you think about it and you laugh about it, but what about those times when I got so many tomatoes that I didn't have any counter space to put them on? You know what I'm saying? So that's what you got to take into consideration. And just because, like I said, 1 year or one season is bad, that does not mean that the whole season or the whole year is going to be bad. Okay, I'm going to go to the chat, and I'm going to look and see what people are saying. Grandmama Groves said yes, indeed. And Grandmama Groves, you and the one was talking about the drip system, the irrigation system. And I'm going to tell you about this young lady. I can't wait for her to start her YouTube channel. And I know she's on Instagram, but she needs to get this channel, guys, because this is a lady that got a lot of knowledge. And she's fearless. And even if I say something that she doesn't totally agree with, she's woman enough and not check behind your back and call up a friend and try to put me down. She'll say how she feels, and she heard, or I used it with the drip system. And see, I'm not bullheaded and pig-headed, because I know I don't know everything. And I know that I was working in the heat of the summer when I bought that system. And when I came home, everything was all dried up, even though I had water in the sauces that came with the system. But I thought about what Grandmama Groves said. And I thought about what Cherie said at Home with Cherie. I said, I'm going to give this another try. There has been almost 10 years that have gone by since I last used the grow bag system. So I ordered them, and they were here the next day. And I put my pigeon peas, I got the 7-gallon, because I was talking with Dan Permaculture's Food Forest, put his channel up, moderators. And I wasn't speaking with him on the phone or anything like that, through comments about the pigeon peas and the lowest temperature. And this is going to fall into what I'm saying about, I said last week about getting information from a lot of different sources. So I Googled it, but I wanted to know from Dan what's the lowest temperature on those peas. And he recommended that I bring them in the greenhouse, because we don't get really a lot of temperatures below 20. However, February 3rd, 2020, we got down to 3 degrees with power outages. And that made a light bulb go off in my head, and that's when I bought, a kerosene heater and those vintage looking kind of lamps I shared with you all that I use paraffin oil in, because it doesn't have a smoke. So I said all of this to say, when Grandmama Groves mentioned the irrigation system works better with those grow bags, I said, I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it a little bit different. And another thing is this. I work from home now with my business, and this YouTube channel is a small business. I can keep a better eye. Because I would leave at 6 o'clock in the morning and come home about 5:30, 6 o'clock at night because of the traffic, how far I was driving to work. So I couldn't go back there and give that container a little bit of water during the day, or put a little water in the sauce saucer. I can do it now. Okay? Do you all understand am I getting my point across? What I'm trying to say? Hey, hi, my granny's garden, 2 abundant acres, tuck beat. I'm speaking to people that I didn't get. Am I making sense? I just want to make sense. So yeah, just because it didn't work the first time doesn't mean that you shouldn't try it again. So we all got our channels in. I'm going to pull up my notes. And like I said, we had a really good class yesterday. And we made homemade, handmade creams and lotions, natural and organic. And the next class that's coming up will be okay, let me find it. Oh, here it goes. July 24th. It's always on the Sunday until the end of the year. And it's water bath candy with Lady Cheryl. Shoot me an email and let me know if you want to come. I'm going to put my email address up and my copy and my Cash App if somebody want to donate to the channel. For example, I'm going to be giving out seeds today, and that costs money. And here's my Cash App. Where is it? There it goes. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to put that in the chat as well, and then I'm going to publish it, and then I'm going to pin it. And Grandmama Groves got me. I have some wonderful moderators. All of them. Hey, Kim Stage 52. Thank you for being here. Okay, so let me get back to my notes. And I mentioned that one class, July 24th. And the next one will be July 31st. For the people in the Make Your Own group, I'm going to make body and hair oil and body and hair butter. And I'm going to go through the list of ingredients and product knowledge, and then I'll show you how to put them together. Okay. July 31st, and of course, it's always on a Sunday until the end of the year, and it's always at noon to 2 o'clock, and you have to be on time, and you have to have your camera and your mic working. Now, you don't have to have your mic working, I can't hear your question. But you need to have not a picture, I want to see your light bulb go off in your head if you're in the class, okay? Now, let me get back up here and see if there's anything else I want to mention. Let me pull up the calendar. I gave you the last 2 weeks in July, and the reason why I'm not doing anything that Sunday weekend, the 3rd, is because that's the 4th of July weekend. That is my birthday. And I will be on for about an hour no matter where I am. I'm going to go live on 4th of July. It'll be my 68th birthday. 68th birthday. Hey guys, my daughter today told me that I was 40 years older than her. I said, wouldn't that make me 80? And you call yourself a teacher? An educator? She laughed so hard. And then the following week, I'm going on vacation. I'm not telling you when or where, because even though I have surveillance cameras inside the house, outside the house, in the backyard, I can be in bed and pull up and see most of my food forest. People always email me and tell me, don't tell people when you're going on vacation. So I'm going to take their advice, even though I'm not worried about it. That's what insurance is for, and prayer. Okay? So I will not be missing any Monday night chats. Let me just put it that way. Wherever I am, I will be going live. Okay? All right. Okay, now I'm going to go over my topic for today. But I'm going to look at the chat and see if there were any questions Better safe than sorry. Exactly, not even when you're going. Right, Duval City. Just kind of keep it hush hush. Because I went camping and I let them know where I was camping or whatever. Nothing happened, but, you know, the world is so evil. The Bible speaks of the world getting weaker and wiser. I think I was trying to think of the two words. Wicked and wiser, or weak and wiser. I think it's wicked. But anyway, thank you, Miss B. Washington. I appreciate you telling them about the class. Was great, and Pescatarian Gardner was there, and she said it was very informative. Yeah, so if you all want to get in on it, you know, you all can join the perk groups, and you can go free. Or you can pay for the class, $50, all product knowledge classes. These are classes that I pay thousands of dollars. Stayed in hotel rooms, convention centers throughout my cosmetology career to learn. And I'm giving it to you for $9.99 a month if you join, make your own group, or $50 per class. Okay. Hi, Kim Stage 52. I think I spoke, but I want to make sure that I don't omit anybody. Okay, now, here we go. This is very important because I'm telling you, I was like perplexed about why my butternut squash experiment was going so well. And I'm watching it, my babies, I call my seedlings, my plants, my babies, and I'm watching it all day long and running in and out with a mask on, the hat on, blah, 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 blah. Giving it extra water when the temps was real high. And then all of a sudden they just started looking horrible. I know that butternut squash is a fall or early spring crop, and I've only grown it in the fall. But I thought by being so close to my patio door in an elevated raised bed and where I could put shade cloth on, I was going to try it. And I have shade cloth from 40%, 50% to 90%. But I had to pull it the other day because it just couldn't handle it. Butternut squash growing season begins when the danger of frost has left. And the soil is warmed by the soil between 60 and 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay? But the temperatures that they thrive in is also the same. So a heat index of 112, they just couldn't handle it. And I tried, and once I tried at that particular time, doesn't mean I'm not going to grow it again. I'm going to grow it again in the fall. Okay? So I wanted to make you all aware of that because I don't want to leave you all high and dry and you never did see the result of the butternut squash. It got too high. And then I started thinking, what else is it too hot for? Now, the typical things that I usually grow in the summertime when we have triple-digit temperatures is sweet potatoes, but I already told you that I had to cut back on sweet potatoes, and I already have some canned and frozen. So this is the first year in about 10 years I didn't grow any. We know that okra grows very well. It's very heat tolerant and drought tolerant. But you have to watch it for aphids. When you see ants crawling up the stalk, they are not eating your okra. They're eating the aphid excretion. We also know that peppers grow pretty good as long as you don't have too much direct sun on them where they can get a burn, a scald. Eggplant does well, but not as well as peppers. You might have to move them to get a little bit of shade once they get over a certain temperature. I'm going to tell you about that in a minute. Let's see, what else do we grow? Eggplant, okra, sweet potatoes. I'm going to the chat. For a package of seeds, okay, Michael Sharon, Please hold your questions, and moderators, I'm going to go ahead on and retract his question. You can answer it later, and the reason why I'm removing it is simply because I want you to put it in again at the right time in all caps so I don't keep seeing it over and over. Thank you, Bob Brownlee, for putting the class dates. Now, I asked you all to tell me what else grows well. I'm putting a package of seeds together with a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of that, and a little bit of that. At least 4 seeds that I got from botanical interest that you would like. Okay? Who can tell me another crop that you can grow somebody's saying corn, cantaloupe, watermelon. Thank you so much, Grandmama Groves, for putting that in there. Okay, we're going to stop. You don't have to add any more. I'm going to go back to these 3. If one of the moderators, we already said okra grows. And I'm just going to tell you right off the bat, pescatarian garden cucumber succumbs to the heat. But I'm going to discuss watermelon, corn, and what was the other one? Cantaloupe. One of you all will be the winner. So let's go to my notes. And let's take the first one. Watermelon. The best average temperature range for watermelon production for growing it during the growing season is between 65 and 95 degrees. It would not survive in a heat index of 116 unless you can really shade it. So, watermelon is not the answer. Let's take cantaloupe. Cantaloupe and honeydew melons are warm season crops that grow best when it's a temperature between 65 and 75 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's not cantaloupe. And what was the other one? Corn? I think it was corn. I'm Googling it right here. Best temperature for corn. Because I didn't look that one up. I didn't think it was correct either. It is between, it grows best between 60 and 80 degrees. But it'll germinate between 60 and 95 degrees. Now, I'm going to look up the source of this information because I don't just go by Google. And let's see. Yes. And it's a reliable source from the Home and Garden Information Center. Everybody with me? So none of those answers were correct. Now, let's talk about some things that are correct. And I already named peppers, eggplant, okra, and what else? Sweet potatoes. Let's name some more. Now, even though I named peppers, all peppers don't do well in the heat. The ones that I showed you in my 60-second video did well, but I want you to know that peppers do best between moderate temperatures between 70 and 85 degrees. So we're talking 15 and 12, 27 degrees hotter when I grew those peppers, but they were shaded. Okay? Let's talk about okra. Okra needs a nighttime temperature of 55 degrees for good growth. And that's why we encourage you not to plant your okra real quick like in March in certain areas if the soil hasn't warmed up. But the seeds will germinate during temperatures of 60 degrees or higher. And okra is one of the most heat and drought tolerant crops that you can grow in the summertime. I love okra. Okra water, if you just take the pod, snip off the end, snip off the part that grows when it comes out of the flower, and slice it up, put it in a little mason jar of water, and leave it on your counter, put a top on it if you want, and then just strain it off in the morning, drink that water. It will lower your blood sugar. So if you have diabetes or you try not to go on medication like me for diabetes, okra. I grow a lot of okra. I'm even growing a dwarf variety. Somebody sent me seeds right outside my door on my patio. So it can take the excessive heat and it grows well. And that's why when you look on your extension office sheet or your local university, mine is Texas A&M Agriculture. It'll give you a list of when you can start your seeds, when you can start put transplants in the ground, and it'll give you different areas of Texas, South Texas, North Texas, Central Texas, so you would know. And okra is one that always come up later. But I've learned to grow it a little bit earlier, but I have grown more seeds than I need. So the ones that couldn't handle the cool nights and the windy conditions, I just removed them. Now this is one I really had to look up, because I noticed that my flowers are dropping on my eggplant. Eggplant thrives in full sun and requires at least 5 months of warm weather for fruit production. So if you do not have 5 months of fruit production, I'm not saying that you can't grow eggplant, but stick with smaller varieties. See, the Black Beauty is one that gets real big. And there's another one, start with an H, it's a Japanese oblong eggplant. You see it as an emoji in a lot of text messages and stuff. That one takes the 5 months. And the temperature needs to be at least 70 to 85. And I got this highlighted in my notes in red. When temperatures rise above 95 degrees Fahrenheit, the eggplant will cease to fruit because the flowers will drop. Kind of like your tomatoes when it gets 85 degrees. But they're giving us 95 degrees, Texas A&M University, for eggplant. Because I noticed that a lot of my eggplant flowers dropped. I've got eggplants on the vine and I'm happy they're on the plant. But if it hadn't gotten so hot, I would have more. But that doesn't mean that they cannot start producing when conditions are favorable again, as long as the root system and everything is being fed and it's getting ample sun and blah, blah, blah. When it cools down, it will begin fruiting again. So I have them in 17-gallon buckets. Eggplants will tolerate moist soil, meaning that if you ever go out and look at it and they start looking all limp and wimp, because it's so hot outside, just give it some water. You might have to water it twice a day. Okay? And one good thing about eggplants is this. It'll grow very well in acidic soil or alkaline soil. And if you don't know what that is, I would suggest that you write that down and look that up and start studying the pH scale, the potential hydrogen in your soil or any product. And you will learn more, and then you will know what you need to feed your soil. And by the way, eggplant grows best in zone 3 to 8. Now, I'm not saying that someone that lives in growing zone 9, 10 can't grow eggplant. You will do better with smaller varieties because it's extremely hot. Okay, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to check the chat, and then I'm going to get back to some berries. Because I noticed that my elderberries were looking a little Wicked. Cheryl's Organic Food Forest. I'm just seeing if I got anything. Okay. Hi, Audrey Willis. Hi, Gina versus Gina. Okay. And I'm sure if I miss somebody, the everyday life of an OCD-ish chick, Miss Nikki, I'm sure everybody spoke to you. And Grandma Grove said her okra has finally germinated. And if it's getting warm where you are, it's gonna take off. Don't worry about it, sweetie. It's gonna take off. I love, 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 love okra. And Pescatarian Gardener said, I guess that's why mine is doing so well. Her okra is growing like crazy. Yeah, it'll get to the point where that's all I'm gonna be having growing is okra and some peppers and and my little eggplant if I can keep them cool enough until that weather gets a little bit better. Hi, Gail Cooper from Wisconsin. Thank you for being here. Okay, so now let me go back to my notes. Elderberries. They grow really well. Again, when I mentioned gardening zone 3 to 8. That is why those are colder climates. That is why when we had that big polar freeze and we got down to 3 degrees, my elderberries came on it like crazy that next year. That next, spring and summer. So they don't do well in real hot climates. They do well in zones 3 to 8. And we're going to be harvesting them around August to September. And this is what's so nice. Deers don't like them. So if you live in zone 3 to 7 and you want to do like I'm doing, training my elderberries to be like a hedge, because they're not trees, they're bushes, that would be the perfect thing for you to do, is to get you some cuttings, start rooting them, and in 3 years you'll have a thick hedge. Put it by your privacy fence if you got some nosy neighbors. You know what I mean? And you'll have some berries. And I've done videos on it of me extracting the juice with my juice extractor I use on the stove from roots and branches, making the elderberry syrup. The ones that you can add alcohol, bourbon, or vodka to for adults to make a tonic that will help build up your immune system, to the kind that has honey and a little stevia in it, because I don't give my grandkids a lot of sugar and their parents don't either, and I water bath can those. So I'm expecting a larger crop of elderberries this year because they're looking good. And I'm gonna tell you something. Elderberries, deers don't like them, and some pests don't like them. And they say in here, and I Googled this and researched this several times when I read that, and it says they do not suffer from any diseases. Any diseases. And it's true. And you all remember me telling you all, if you have a population of non-beneficial insects in your vicinity where you're gardening, if they are prone to a certain crop, if they don't have that crop to feast on, they are still going to survive. Because I have seen this with my own eyes, squash bugs on my elderberries. Yep. They eat up the little berries. They start with the flowers. That's where you see me on the videos catching them real quick, is over there where my elderberries are. And God made everything so unique. They know how to hide and lay their eggs. Did you see in my last video where I have the big cabbage moth, that beige moth? But if you catch it, you look real close, you'll see a little black on it, But it's mostly white. When it's flying, it's off-white. Well, they like to land their eggs on my fig trees. It's amazing because it's so, the leaves are so big and so overlapping, they know exactly where to land, where they think you're not going to be looking. Sorry about that. That's my oscillating fan. So anyway, when that cluster of berry ripen, you'll know you got between 5 and 15 days to harvest them. I harvested the majority of my elderberries all in one day. It's a lot of work, but you just gotta psych yourself up. You know you got a chore. You gotta harvest them, then wash them. And I brought them in the house, guys. That's why I want an outdoor sink. I brought them in the house and filled up 2 of my sinks, with water, and see squash bugs crawling out when that water hits them. So I'm telling you, if they can't find squash, they will eat what they can. I didn't do it. Bria did it. It's in one of my videos. I couldn't tell you which one it is. But she says, Big Mama, a hornworm! When we were harvesting peppers. If you've been with me for a while and you watch all my videos, you'll know it's the video in the fall where we were harvesting sweet bell peppers and the kids were making names up. Big Mama Jama, this is Super Duper Rooper, whatever. And Bria, her mother's name is Lisa, found a hornworm. Bria found a hornworm on the pepper plant. And people say the hornworms only want their tomatoes. It's not true. If you don't have any food to eat and you don't like peanut butter and you're starving, you're going to eat that peanut butter sandwich. And the same thing with insects. Now moving on, because I looked up all this stuff that I'm growing. Muscadines. Muscadines should only be planted in regions that do not go lower than 10 degrees Fahrenheit. Last year, 2021 spring, I had a very modest, we got some, but not that much, muscadines. Because that winter, it got down to 3 degrees. And the research has taught me that it shouldn't go lower than 10. So whenever you have a tree, a vine, a bush, a fruit tree, whatever, nut tree, and your conditions are colder or warmer than the experts say that it should be, it doesn't mean that you won't get a crop. It just means that it won't be a good one. And I'm a living witness that I didn't get a lot of muscadines. I couldn't make wine last year. And I made wine for the first time the year before when I had a really great crop. And we had a relatively mild winter that did not go below 10 degrees. And the grape vines, the muscadine vines, are loaded. They're loaded. And I'm anticipating the birds are going to try and get them. And I'll be doing a video with my son-in-law, because he helps me with my muscadines. I bought 4 bird nets. And as soon as they start getting swelling up, around July, August, and they start to turn just a little bit, the birds are going to swoop in, and the squirrels and cats, believe it or not. And I'm going to have that bird netting on them. I ordered 4 from Stark Brothers when they had a sale and free shipping. So, they will not survive below 0. And the lowest temperature for muscadines will be 10 degrees. And we will start harvesting them August through September. For your questions, I'm almost finished. And then I'm going to take your questions. Okay, let's talk about peaches. The best time to harvest your peaches is between June July and August. The right time to harvest them is when they are ripe. Now that's the fruit that won't get sweeter if you harvest them too early. But you can pickle peaches, you can make marmalade, and for people who eat a lot of sugar, that type of thing, you can. There are ways that you can improve the taste. Okay, but I like to can my peaches in water or apple juice, but no sugar. And so yeah, you can harvest them all the way until August. And then one more thing I researched as far as fruit is concerned, persimmons. And my persimmon tree had a setback when we had the 3-degree temperature and we didn't get that much fruit that year. It's a nice amount of fruit on the tree this year, but I think it's still suffering from the shock of that 3 degrees because the fruit is constantly dropping. And I know it's not because of watering or anything like that, because I water well, and the persimmon tree has a long taproot that can go 15 to 20 feet in the earth and pull up water that's, other plants can't and trees can't get. There are a lot of trees that can do it though. I don't mean to say that persimmon is the only one. There are plants like comfrey and asparagus that can go down that deep. Okay, but we harvest our persimmons anywhere between September and November, depending on what type of persimmon tree you have. If you have a Japanese persimmon tree, you can harvest them when they're crunchy like an apple or a pear. Or you can let them get real soft like a custard. But a American persimmon, because I have the Fuyu, which is a Asian persimmon, and then I have the Yates American persimmon that I got from Stark Brothers. It was just a little switch when I got it, and it's getting real big, no fruit yet. But that one is the type that has to go through a freeze or a temperature 32 degrees or lower, because if you don't, it is astringent. It will, hurt you like an antiseptic. It's not really a pleasant feeling to eat a American persimmon that has not gone through the cold stratification. Now, I've told you about a lot of stuff you can grow and you can't grow, so this is what I want to touch on right now. And what I'm doing is I'm pulling some crops. I'm not wallowing in pity. And I'm growing some things that I can grow, like green beans, provided that I can give them ample shade, and field peas. Field peas can take a lot of heat, but if it gets too hot, the flowers will drop, just like tomatoes, just like eggplants, and a lot of other crops. So what I'm doing is I am making sure that I have at least 90 to 100 days left with warm weather, and I'm growing field peas and striped green beans. And I have some contender beans, some top crop bush beans. I have a lot of them. I was looking at my, my seeds and some of the newest seeds that I bought from Botanical Interest. So that's what I'm going to be planting. Going forward from here on out until winter, I'm going to be growing more peas that can handle, or beans that can handle my weather. Okay. So I'm going to go up and read the comments. What? Only 22 likes? Really? Oh my goodness. That's pretty bad. You all don't want this video to get picked up by the algorithms. Hello, LGG love. Somebody's talking about their, I guess they're talking about elderberries. My eggplant grow like crazy in zone 5. That makes sense. Yours should be able to flower real well because you don't have 104 temperatures and heat index in zone 5. If you do, Gail Cooper, It's very rare that you may get 100 degrees, but you don't have it consistently like we have it day after day. Now, it's supposed to rain today, so the temperatures are a little bit cooler, and we're supposed to have cooler weather in the lower 90s, and I'm looking forward to it for a few days, and then it's going to be right back up by the time 4th of July is here. It's going to be right back up to triple-digit temperatures. Morse, Daniel Morse, love you, Lady Cheryl. I watch you all the time, and you are so informational to me. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I appreciate your support. Hey Tia, good to see you. Fresh starts is speaking to everybody, and everybody's speaking to her. Hey V-Knit Queen Solo, thank you so much for being here. And Suzanne Hammond 66, I see my moderator is speaking to you. Okay, so at this time, I will take your questions, and then we're going to play a few games. So you can put the question marks up, guys, moderators, and we will take your questions if you should have any. And if you don't, we'll play a few games. I'll start getting my little questions ready for my games. I'll do my best to answer your question. Michael Sharon. Good evening, Lady Cheryl. Do you use your homemade comfort tea fertilizer in all your vegetables and fruit plants, whether they are root, leafy, or vegetables? Yes, everything. I give most of my fruit trees comfort tea about 3 times a year, except for the persimmons. I think that's it. They don't need any fertilizer because they go down real deep. Oh, and my pecan tree, I don't fertilize it at all. It's another one that goes down real deep. But on all the vegetables, now if there are young seedlings, I dilute the fermented tea about 10 to 1. And if it's fruit trees, maybe about 5 to 1. And there's really no magic formula, because the longer you let the comfrey ferment, the stronger that it will get. Okay? So young seedlings don't need that much fertilization. So that's why I said I dilute that at least 10 parts water, 1 part. Okay. Okay, next time, please, LGGG, love, put your question in all caps. You said I tried BET waiting to see if I caught the attack of the squash bugs on time. What is the time frame for squash bug attack in zone 7B? You asking me a question that I don't know. I can't answer because I don't have all the different zones memorized. I can only tell you about 8A, or if I do some research on temperatures or insects for a specific zone. But I'll tell you where you can go get the answer to that question. Your local extension office will have information about the time frame for squash bugs to attack you. And also you can check with Farmer's Almanac, the little book your grandparents used to use, and look up the moon signs and all of that. You can do that and put a question in there, and you'll probably get your answer. Okay. Hoyt Robinson, my peppers are blooming like crazy, but no fruit. Okay. Did you hear when I was talking about peppers? Were you here then? Is your temperature conducive to them growing? Do you need to shade them? What is your highest temperature? If it's too hot right now, they will grow. Another thing, if you've been using fertilizer that has the highest number is the N from the NPK, then you're giving it too much nitrogen. So it could be the heat, it could be too much nitrogen, or you might need a little shade. Okay. Salon Diva says it's her birthday. Happy birthday to you. I guess she says, can I get a happy birthday? I guess that's what you're saying. Happy birthday to you, dear. Please post your questions in all caps. Okay, is there another question? Did I miss one? I'm going back up. Oh, yeah. Susan Hammond. I said that before in a live and people went crazy. And when I said that the astringent persimmon will eat your mouth out. I said something like that and everybody laughed. So I didn't want to say that again. But it'll pucker it up. What you're saying is very, very true. Your whole mouth. Okay, Mike Kromowski. I probably put too many zucchini seeds in a gallon grow bag. Can I transplant the extras or just snip them off? Depends on how far they're gone. Now, if your plant is about 4 inches, you can gingerly remove them and separate them, put them in different bags. If your plants are big, 6 inches, a foot tall or whatever, just snip them off. They're going to die. That's what I would recommend. Very good question. Ms. B. Washington, Lady Cheryl, what is the exact name of the comfrey that you grow? Russian Blocking 14 comfrey. I started off with 3 cuttings, I think, from eBay. 2 or 3. And now I have it everywhere. And you all know I sent hundreds of cuttings out. And I will be doing it again. And I rooted. That was a lot of work. I rooted it because I just wanted to make sure nobody got anything that wouldn't root. And they couldn't email me and I'll be going like, maybe they didn't water it. Or maybe they, but maybe something was wrong with it. I don't know. I just felt the need to buy new potting soil and potting mix. And I rooted them all. This year I was just sending the cuttings. Because I know that I know it'll root. Russian Blocking 14. Okay, Hoyt Robinson. You can buy comfrey seeds. There are a lot of different varieties. However, the one that is best for making the tea for fertilizer or chop and drop is Russian Blocking 14, and those seeds are sterile. So you can buy the cuttings. You can buy the cuttings on eBay if somebody still has them. I will have some late fall for sale. Okay? I'm telling you, don't buy some seeds for comfrey. I bought some seeds and it's not the same. I have 2 plum trees. Will they produce more plums? What do you mean? I have 2 plum trees. Will they produce more plums? You mean like make baby trees? I need more information, Hoyt. I'm sorry. Thank you, Antia. Michael Sharon wants to know, do I have any videos on indoor gardening in the greenhouse? Yes, I have a playlist it says greenhouse. There's a lot of videos showing you how I heat my greenhouse, how I start seeds in my greenhouse, how I put shade cloth on my greenhouse, how I cut holes in my plastic cover every year because it gets too hot. I have videos on me starting my seeds. You can look at my seed starting list. I have a lot of those videos about how you start seeds inside your home as well. So yeah, seed starting playlist and greenhouse playlist. If I have a moderator, I know I have a moderator. If you will put those links up, if you will, I would appreciate it. Pescatarian Guardian saying, yeah, tons of videos. You can start binge watching them. Oh, and let me just say this. Let me just say this real quick. Doggone, I lost my train of thought. It'll come back to me. Okay, when you ask me about specific areas, I can only give you a guesstimate of that answer. Again, I'm going to refer you to the Farmer's Almanac. Duval City Girl Gardener is saying, do passion fruit and Barbados cherry need direct sun in zone 9A? The answer to that question would be yes. I have not grown passion fruit or Barbados cherry tree, but I've seen a lot of videos on them. And yes, they grow very well in zones 9 and 8, but also reference the farmersalmanac.com. Very good. Thank you, Grandmama Grows. And thank you, LGG Love, telling you all to hit that like button. Please do that. That generates other people being able to view this video. It jiggles the algorithms, is what I heard. Hi, Tony Jackson. And somebody was asking Tony, did she get her question? Oh, what do I do about maggots in my tea? Maggots in your tea. Are you talking about comfrey tea? Well, now, you know maggots are not bad to have. Maggots help decompose. And in a permaculture environment in your garden, predators like birds and things and earthworms will eat the maggots. So you don't need to do anything about them. Now, if you want to strain them out and then throw them over to the chickens, if you got chickens or an area where you see birds, you can do that, but it won't harm your garden. It won't harm your garden at all. I hope I answered your question. I know I did. Okay. Okay, yes, Tia, I got her question. Thank you, Aunt Tia. Ah. Okay, we right on time. If there aren't any more questions, let's play some games. You're welcome, Tony. Okay, could somebody put the start button? The start button for the contest. I'm getting ready to give these seeds away. I said 4 different types of seeds I'm going to send you. And that's going to cost me. I can't put that in a regular envelope. You will get a tracking notification. Which probably will cost more than the seeds. But unless I put them in 4 different envelopes, I'll figure out a way. Okay, start. How many children do I have? Of course, they're all adults. Let's put some answers up, people. How many children do I have? Stop. Put the stop sign up, people. Hi, Southern Red Sugar. I know you were in here. Okay, if you put the stop up, I'm going to tell you who won. The answer is 3, and according to my PC, the first person who answered it was Cassandra Dominic. Let's give her a hand, everybody. And I'm going to send seeds to the next winner, which is Grows. Let's give her a hand. And Grandmama Grows. I'm doing 3 for 3. I'm pretty sure I got Grandmama Grows' address and Grows' address. And Cassandra, I don't know if I have yours or not. If you ever bought anything from my website, I have it. But if you haven't, just email me. Hey, Gardner99, it's nice to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. So I want to take those 3 people. I'll send you some seeds. Okay, and they will go out probably like Wednesday or Thursday. I gotta put this up. That's it, everybody. Have a great evening. Russian Blocking 14 is the name of the country. You have to get cuttings. They don't sell the seeds. And if anybody on eBay or Etsy tries to sell you some Russian Blocking 14 seeds, they're not reliable. And if you have maggots in your tea, that's fine. You can strain them off, give them to the birds or the chickens, and you actually can just put them in your garden base. It's not gonna hurt anything. Barbados cherry and passion fruit. When you need direct sun in zone 9A, as long as it's not burning them. And I'm making sure I got everybody. All right. Suzanne Hammond 66, thank you for being here. Good night, Tuckbeat. Good night, Andale. I didn't know you were even here, Andale. Good night, Mike. Good night, Susie. Good night, John Boy. No, the Walters, you remember that? Salon Diva at home. Good night, Brownlee. Thank you so much. Good night, Auntie Yankee sister. Everybody, good night. You know that I love you, and God loves you too. See you next week. It's going to be my birthday. My birthday. I'll only be on for a short amount of time.